My friend, sit with me for a moment and let's have a real talk. Not the talk you hear at the bar or in passing on the street. This is the kind of talk that echoes in your bones, that stirs something deeper in you. You see, as we grow older, we start to believe that the glow of youth is the only measure of attractiveness. That if we don't have tight skin and shiny hair, we've somehow been pushed off the stage of life. But I want to shake you awake from that illusion, because there are 7 clear signs that you're an attractive older man, even if you don't realize it. And each sign is more about the soul than the surface, more about the quiet power that only time can sculpt. First, let's face the pain point. You look in the mirror and you don't see the young man you once were. You see lines, maybe some scars, maybe a body that doesn't respond as quickly as before. Society tells you these are flaws. But the truth is, each line is a verse in your life's poem. Each scar is proof you lived and felt and fought and loved. An attractive older man carries these marks with silent dignity. When younger people, especially younger women, gravitate toward you, it is not always about physical perfection. It's the depth behind your eyes, the way your presence calms a room. There's a stillness in you that young men haven't learned yet. That stillness is magnetic. Second, your confidence is no longer loud. When you were young, maybe you needed to brag, to show off, to chase. Now you understand that true confidence is quiet. You speak when you have something to say. You listen more than you talk. People lean in when you speak because they sense wisdom behind your words. This quiet confidence is alluring in a way that youth can't imitate. You don't need to shout about your value. You wear it like an invisible cloak. This is a sign that you're an attractive older man, even if you don't see it. Third, you are not afraid of vulnerability anymore. When you were 20 or even 30, you might have hidden your fears or your tears. You thought you had to be a rock at all times, but aging teaches you that true strength lies in showing your wounds, in admitting that you don't have all the answers. Younger people, especially those in age-gap relationships, are drawn to that raw honesty. They sense the real you, and they crave that openness. You become a safe harbor for them, a place where they can also be themselves without fear of judgment. That is powerful beyond measure. Fourth, you know how to make people feel seen. In a world of constant distractions, being truly present with someone is rare. An older man who puts away his phone, who holds someone's gaze, who remembers small details, that man becomes unforgettable. You show up fully, and that feels like warmth in a cold world. Younger partners notice this. They may not be able to put it into words, but they feel it in their bones. You might think you're just being polite, but you're actually radiating a kind of attractiveness that goes beyond skin-deep charm. Fifth, you have stories. Not the kind of shallow stories people tell to impress, but stories that carry lessons, pain, humor, and mystery. Your stories don't just entertain, they teach. They reveal layers of your character. When you share them in a humble, open-hearted way, you become a living library of human experience. You become someone others want to explore, someone they want to learn from and lean into. Your past, all its mess and beauty, becomes your allure. You may not realize it, but every time you open up about your journey, you become more magnetic. Sixth, you carry a certain patience that only time can bestow. You don't rush. You don't panic when plans change. You don't get lost in trivial drama. You understand that most storms pass if you just stand still long enough. This patience is a balm to those who live in constant hurry and worry. Younger partners in age-gap relationships often find this patience intoxicating. It feels like safety. It feels like strength without aggression. You, without even trying, offer a calmness that is deeply attractive. You become the steady tree they can rest under when life feels like a storm. 7th, you are authentic. In a world obsessed with filters, pretenses, and performances, your authenticity is rare gold. You no longer feel the need to fit into anyone else's mold. You are not chasing trends or trying to reinvent yourself for someone's approval. You stand in your truth, and that truth is beautiful. People, especially those in age-gap dynamics, are tired of the masks. They are drawn to someone who is real, someone who has faced darkness and still stands in the light. You become a lighthouse in a sea of fake smiles and empty words. Now, my dear friend, let's talk about why you might not see these signs in yourself. Many older men have been conditioned to measure their worth by youthful standards. They believe that as hair thins and muscles soften, their value diminishes. But these ideas are illusions sold by a society obsessed with surfaces. The reality is, every year you've lived has only made you more compelling. Each failure, each heartbreak, each triumph has chiseled you into a masterpiece that can't be replicated by youth. You are not an old version of a young man. You are a completely new creation. A rare vintage that can't be mass-produced. I know, it can feel strange when a younger woman shows interest in you. You might question her motives, think she must be after something else. But often, what she is drawn to is exactly these 7 signs. Your depth, your quiet strength, your patience, your authenticity. She sees in you what younger men can't offer yet. A safe place, a mentor, a lover who knows himself. And she wants to share in that energy, to soak it in, to feel it steady her restless heart. Some studies actually back this up. Research has shown that many younger women are drawn to older men because they perceive them as more emotionally stable and more able to provide guidance and support. It's not always about material wealth or status. It's about emotional wealth, about the unspoken knowledge that life is short and that real connection is more precious than any external show. Perhaps you've noticed that you get glances when you walk into a room, or that people, without knowing why, treat you with a certain reverence. You might brush it off, thinking they're just being polite. But I urge you to look deeper. The world senses your quiet power, even if you don't. It's there in the way you stand, the way you laugh from your belly rather than your throat, the way you let silences breathe rather than filling them with noise. You are attractive, not in spite of your age, but because of it. I can feel your resistance as you read this. Maybe you think I'm just flattering you. But think back to a time when you comforted someone simply by listening, when you inspired someone without even trying, when someone looked into your eyes and saw the man behind the years, the man who had endured and grown. That was no accident. That was the sign. You are more than enough. You are an attractive older man who carries the kind of richness that no gym membership or cosmetic surgery can buy. Life's greatest irony is that we often don't recognize our own light. We stand in front of the mirror, searching for wrinkles and grey hairs, while our true glow can only be seen through the eyes of another. Someone who sees not just your body, but your soul. Someone who feels safe in your presence, who feels inspired by your resilience. Someone who is drawn to your gravity like a planet to a star. You don't need to try to be someone else. You don't need to chase after lost youth. You simply need to keep being the man you have become. The man who has known failure and kept going. The man who has loved deeply and lost, but chosen to love again. The man who has learned that silence can say more than 1,000 words. The man who understands that true intimacy is not about perfect bodies, but about shared spirits. South, when you next catch your reflection, I want you to look a little longer. Don't just look at the lines and the grey. Look at the life those lines hold. Look at the warmth in your eyes. Look at the strength in your stillness. And remember these 7 signs. Remember that they are not given by accident. They are earned. They are yours. And if a younger woman finds herself drawn to you, don't push her away with self-doubt. Don't hide behind jokes about your age or question her sincerity. Instead, receive her interest as a gift, a sign that your journey has shaped you into a man worth noticing, worth loving, worth following into the depths of real connection. At the end of it all, attractiveness is not about symmetry or muscle mass or smooth skin. It is about energy, about the silent signals you send when you walk into a room, about the sense of safety and intrigue you inspire, about the stories you carry and the way you make people feel when they stand near you. You have these signs, my friend. You may not see them, but they are there. They shine brighter than any spotlight. They live in the small moments, the gentle smile, the knowing glance, the patient ear. They are in the way you handle life's chaos with calmness, in the way you savor a conversation rather than rush through it. They are in your authentic spirit that refuses to be anything but real. So stand tall, live fully, and remember, you are an attractive older man, even if you don't realize it. The world sees it, the right people feel it, and whether you acknowledge it today or tomorrow, the truth remains. You have become a rare kind of beautiful. Not the fleeting beauty of youth, but the enduring beauty of a life deeply lived. A beauty that once seen can never be forgotten.